guys, so we've got one B race for the Mazda Mark-1's about to go out this afternoon, right after lunchtime, so hopefully the full bellies won't be too much of an issue for them. But yeah, we've got Jack Moody on front, who's a complete novice this year from Guildford, so he's going out on pole, and then we've got some old favourites like Simon Woods behind, and I believe that's Tucker as well in car 22, so we should see how these guys get on.
Thank you, Lyndsay. Should be a cracking start to the season in the Mazda MX-5 Championship B Group. And on the front row of the grid, it is Jack Moody and Simon Woods, as you mentioned. Paul Tucker and Charlie Rawls on the second. Ivan Leary and Charles Muggleston on the third row. From Matthew Pollard and Nick Ledoyen, with George Grant and Adrian Burge rounding up the top 10. Then it's Anthony Hutchins from Alan Hawkins. Nick Riley alongside Callum Greatrex on the 7th row. Then Bryn Griffiths and Clive Chisnell on the 8th. Jake Stiles and Richard Wooten. Sam Jarvis and Elliot Hand round out the top 20. Then it's Graham Rumsey, Richard Bartlett, Bruce Robinson and Sam Riley. A nice combination of novices, fairly well experienced hands and masters drivers. So let's see how they all charge for Paddock Hill Bend. Revs rising. Oh, careful, Paul. Don't creep too far forward. And away we go racing. But Paul Tucker's made a cracking start. So too has Charlie Rawls on the far side. And it's 4 wide to Paddock Hill Bend. First run to first corner. And it's 4 wide. Amazing. Paul Tucker gets through and takes the lead early on. That looks like Simon Woods has crept up into second position. We're on board with Charlie Rawls as they make their way out of Paddock Hill Bend and up the hill towards Druids. It's going to be an interesting start to the season. Oh, and there's a bit of a spin and contact. That looks like we've had an off already. Now, who is that that's spun it? That's the 96, I think, of Charles Muggleston. So Muggleston has dropped to the back of the grid as Jack Moody defends on the inside line and retakes that third position into Graham Hill Bend at the bottom of the hill, defending from Nick Ledoyen, who's had a cracking start. Back on board with Rawls. This time it's the rear-facing camera. Behind us is Adrian Burge trying to charge after us. Up through Surtees and McLaren. And to complete the lap, it's a very short lap here at Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit, which makes for fast, furious and frenetic racing. Burge is having a little bit of a crack here. This is for third position. That's Jack Moody running out in third position. So 5th and 6th is Rawls and Nick Ledoyen. Oh, sorry, no, that's Nick Ledoyen trying to go round the outside of Jack Moody. So Ledoyen is going to try and get into third position. Squeezes Moody to the inside. Tries to run right round the outside. Don't think so, says Jack. That's an easy move for me to defend, and I'm going to do so. Meanwhile, Burge is going to get the undercut to move past Charlie Rawls. Up on the inside, but Rawls goes right round the outside of Druids. You're not going to get there, bucko. Charlie Rawls comes off the throttle and back onto the power again as he skates down Druids and up towards Graham Hill Bend, the left-hander. Tucks in plenty of curb on the entry. Oh, a little bit of a correction there on the mid part of the apex, but that's plenty fine. No problems at all. Up the gear and then into Surtees. You carry the speed through. You've got to be very confident on the way in. It's getting a little bit dark and drizzly here. I hope rain's not going to affect play here. Jack Moody in the lead of this battle for third position. 4 cars in it. Nick Ledoyen in a brilliant 4th position after a cracking start. Then it is Charlie Rawls in 5th. And in 6th position, that is the 7 of Adrian Burge. Jack Moody trying to close up the gap on Woods, who has got traffic to deal with and is getting a little bit held up. Can he make his way in a 2nd position? Well, he's dealt with a slower car pretty quickly, to be fair, so not a major problem. And that is the... now, who is that they're lapping, actually? I think that is the 169 of George Grant, who started right up the sharp end, but he's had a lot of difficulties. He's not in his own car. He's just using a different car for this particular weekend, because, of course, normally he races in the Super Cup in the Clapham North car. Last lap, and here is your man in the lead. Since the start, actually, since that gutsy move off the line to go 4 wide into Paddock Hill Bend and put his car in exactly the right position to take the lead of the race, that is Paul Tucker. So Paul Tucker starting his 2018 season exactly the way he wanted to do. He's won a lot of races in the past as Paul Tucker, in both the A and B group, of course. But it's great to see him at the front of the B group once again. He'll have plenty of great racing ahead of him in 2018. He's always his own worst critic, is Paul Tucker, but he shouldn't be so hard on himself. He's a great racer. He knows how to put himself in a good position, and he has absolutely worked his magic here on the Brands Hatch Indy circuit today. He comes up out of McLaren into Clark, and as he drops down through clearways, he'll have a slower car in front of him, but he won't have an issue with him because he's going to cross the line before he gets past him. Out of the final turn, it's a cracking first race of the season for Paul Tucker, who takes the checkered flag. His arm is in the air. Thanks, boys. Victory! Brilliant run for Paul Tucker. 2nd place for Simon Woods in front of Charlie Rawls and Jack Moody. Not a bad start for the newbie. What a cracking start to the season, though, for Paul Tucker. First master home and first man home. Woods in second from Charlie Rawls and Jack Moody. Nick Doyen beats Adrian Burge and Matthew Pollard in their 10th squabble. Anthony Hutchins hangs on in front of Callum Greatrex, Alan Hawkins and Ivan Leary, with Bryn Griffiths eventually dropping to 12 ahead of Chisnell, Styles, Wooten, Riley, Grant, Rumsey, Riley and Jarvis. Fastest lap of the race, Bruce Robinson. Brilliant work from him in 21st. Elliot Hann and Richard Bartlett in 22nd and 23rd, with Muggleton out of the race after that first lap spin. What a race to start the season.
Paul Tucker, you've been doing this 6 years, but I bet you'd never get tired of top spot.
No. Basically, yeah, I had a super start, yeah, 6 years. I'm getting a bit old for this now. We've got young lads who are not scared of dying and think a lot quicker than us. But no, really enjoy it. Absolute great lads, great racing, great championship.
Yeah. Simon, second place, season opener. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a good race. Me and Paul, we've raced side by side quite a few years now, so I can trust him. I know he'll push me, I know I'll push him, but it's always clean, it's always fair. Yeah, and after a win at Donington, it's nice to come back and be on the front. Now we're in the A's, we can push forward to be where we should be.
So Charlie, this has been a long time coming, so how do you feel?
I feel absolutely over the moon. It's been a long time coming. Obviously last year was just my first year racing. I wanted to learn the circuits. I didn't really care where I came. Obviously towards the end I was starting to get the bit between my teeth. I wanted to make my way forward. We found a little bit of pace in the car over the winter, and it's obviously paid off. So very little testing. I just want to go out and say that whoever wants to come racing, just go and do it, because if I can do it, anyone can do it.
That's great advice. But now obviously you're going to move up to the A's. Have you got a game plan already? You're just going to go out and try and have some fun?
Well, I have actually got tactics, because obviously you know Michael Close. He did say he's never got a pole position. So I did say if I get a pole, then I'll dedicate it to him. So it might be a game plan to stay back and get a win in the next B race after that, or just push forward and see how far we can get. Hopefully get dragged along by some of the quicker guys and never look back, hopefully.
Brilliant. Well, I can't wait to see it. Good luck.
Thank you.
So the second Group B race is forming up on the grid here at Brands Hatch. Marcus Bailey is on pole position. We've got 24 cars on the grid in total, so if the other two races are anything to go by, it should be something special. I'll hand you over to our race commentator, Jake Sanson.
Thanks, Anthony. I can't wait for this one. The bottom 5 from the A group now head the front of the grid. Marcus Bailey, William Hayden, Clive Powles, Bill Taylor and Paul Bateman. They join the rest of the Group B brigade. Adrian Burge in 6th from Matthew Pollard and Anthony Hutchins. Rounding up the top 10, it's Callum Greatrex and Alan Hawkins. Ivan Leary and Bryn Griffiths, with Clive Chisnell and Jake Styles. Richard Wooten and George Grant are on the 8th row of the grid. Then it's Graham Rumsey and Sam Riley, Sam Jarvis and Bruce Robinson, Elliot Hann and Richard Bartlett. Fighting their way through from the back will be Nick Riley and Charles Muggleton. We should see a really interesting battle as there are 3 or 4 drivers out of position. The top 5 obviously were in the A group. They're now in the B group. We've got jump starts in the front of the grid. Now that's going to be interesting. If anybody gets picked up for a penalty, we could see some interesting first few laps. But anyway, it looks like it's going to be 4 wide again as the drivers battle their way through to the first corner and splitting them through the middle. Marcus Bailey looks like he's going to get overhauled here as they fly through Baddekill Bend. No major dramas. 65 William Hayden getting himself into the mix there at the front. Hard braking into Baddekill Bend. Is everybody going to get through? A little bit of a moment for Bill Taylor as he drifts out wide and he's lost about 8 places. But it is a very exciting start to this one. That's the cavalry charging their way down the hill into Baddekill Bend, into Graham Hill Bend, sorry, and side by side, that is Matthew Pollard making the move. Sorry, no, that's William Hayden, the very similar car, the 65, making the move on Alan Hawkins. He's through up the inside. It's Pollard behind him. That's why I got confused. Very, very interesting start to the race. No major catastrophes as everybody knits their way through. That's Hutchins battling away with a fast-starting Ivan Leary, who's got himself back up the order. He was the one who got clattered into at the start of race 1, don't forget, when Mugglestone spun it. But now they come down and over the start-finish line again. No need for a safety car. It's a perfectly clean getaway. And out in front, it is already a very close battle. You can see the top 3 starting to break clear. This is the 65. William Hayden leading the charge for second position. This is a very tight battle as the 42 cuts across. Brilliant start to the race there from Paul Bateman as he charges across Clive Powles. No way is Powles going to get through. Hutchins likewise does a similar job on the 55 of Pollard. Ivan Leary trying to dive through on the inside. Can he make the move into Graham Hill Bend? No, there's no point going ugly early. He slots back into position with Adrian Burge just behind him. But out in front, no major problems for the man in the lead of the race. Marcus Bailey, 54, hangs on to the lead, having fought his way up in the first couple of corners instantly. Is now having a bit of a tussle. Great racing in the early stages. But the drivers are battling away for the second time of the season, I was going to say, for the first few laps. It is going to be pretty close. Look how tight they're battling. Adrian Burge following in pursuit of the 25, Ivan Leary. Leary goes to the left side. Watch him under braking. Careful, don't snake in the damp conditions. They will have a good exit out of Paddock Hill Bend. A bit of a slide around as Hutchins is about to lose the place to the 55 of Pollard. Pollard dives at the inside. Hutchins shuts the door firmly in his face, and Leary gets the jump on Burge. Great racing here in the Mazda MX-5 Championship. This is only Group B, don't forget. You tend to get some really exciting battles in Group B as drivers continue to assert themselves and show the world that they should actually be in Group A for the last race of the weekend. But how about this? They will battle again for second position, these two. Great racing between Paul Bateman and Clive Powles. Bateman starting from P5 on the grid, Powles from P3, but a cracking start from the 42 puts him into second position, with them all trying to close up on Marcus Bailey in the lead of the race. There goes the 54 out in front. Then it is the 42 of Paul Bateman. Clive Powles is third. Powles is looking for a way to get through on the inside. He's going to come from a long way back to get that move done. He doesn't quite get the move stuck. But fair play to Powles for his gutsy displays at the start. He almost got the lead. Now he's going to dive on the inside of the 42, and Bateman is going to have to leave him some space. There he goes, asserts himself in the braking zone and pulls it through into second place. Good move. Ivan Leary drops down the hill once again. This is all going beautifully for Ivan Leary. Fifth position will see him into the A group, no problem at all. But the 55, Matthew Pollard, is absolutely determined that he's not going to lose another place. He's up to fourth place. He's fought beautifully to get here, having been in the previous B group race, of course. William Hayden looks like he's going to remain in the B group, having been demoted there from the A group in his first race. But Ivan Leary's not done yet. There could still be a couple of chapters left to write on this one. Down the straight, Pollard defends, holding that inside line perfectly at the moment. Leary's going to go left. He's going to give Matthew Pollard an awful lot of pressure. Down in the braking zone, Pollard hangs on to the inside line, no problem at all. And Matthew Pollard is still there in fourth position. William Hayden watching on. It's going to be a late dive from Leary. Don't even think about it, mate. But that has spooked Matthew Pollard a little bit. He's drifted out wide. That's brought William Hayden back into play as both of these drivers tussle for the position. But will William Hayden have a chance to get back past them both? That's going to be the difficult one. Down the straight into Surtees. Throw it in the left-hander. Not too much curb needed. Up through McLaren. Watch out, boys. Here comes William Hayden, and he's looking particularly hungry again. To get himself back into that top five, he's going to have to do something pretty magic, but he has the capabilities. We've seen it time and time and time again. Down the straight, up and over the grid hatchings and over the line once again. 55, Matthew Pollard hangs on to that fourth place. Ivan Leary hangs on to fifth position. Both of them being chased by the man who's on the bubble, William Hayden, is set to be the leading B group driver who won't go through to the A group. Only the top five go through. Now, who's that in front of them? That is the 78, needing to get out of the way. That is Richard Bartlett. Meanwhile, as they lap the 90 of Bruce Robinson, the leaders are coming through. It's Clive Powles and Marcus Bailey. It's still not done yet, though, because Clive Powles is hanging on in front of Marcus Bailey. There's only about 2 car lengths between them, and if Marcus Bailey gets a whiff of opportunity, he will be straight through. Look at that. There's now not even a car length between them as they come off of Druids. Marcus Bailey giving Clive Powles a battle right to the last lap. Can he find his way through into Graham Hill Bend? He's going to get a good exit if he gets it right. And Clive Powles will have to defend resolutely. Look, he's hanging to the inside, and that is a spin, unfortunately, for Elliot Han, who has beached it up at Druids on the last lap. But Clive Powles is going to hang on in front of Marcus Bailey as they power back on the throttle out of the final turn. Bailey might be able to get alongside, but he's going to run out of time to do anything about it. Clive Powles is going to take the win from Bailey. Bailey is alongside, but behind him at the flag. Brilliant racing from both of them. Clive Poles taking the victory in front of Marcus Bailey, with Paul Bateman in third place. Matthew Pollard hangs on for fourth. Adrian Burge came through to fifth in the bitter end, with Alan Hawkins in sixth from Ivan Leary. Anthony Hutchins, Bryn Griffiths and Bill Taylor round out the top 10. From Stiles and Chisnell, Wootton and George Grant. Rumsey, Muggleston fights back to 16th from Robinson, Riley, Richard Bartlett and Sam Jarvis. Fastest lap of the race, Marcus Bailey, and 4 retirements from Han, Greatrex, William Hayden and Nick Riley. What a battle, what a fantastic race.
Clive, it was a risky move, but it paid off in the end.
It did. I never thought I'd be able to get to that point, but slowly but slowly I managed to catch in on Marcus, and I just got to go for it, really.
Marcus, at one point I thought it was going to be pole to flag for you, but it was a great move up the inside, and you gave him fair
I gave him fair room, fair racing room. Could have held the line and have been contact, but I've already been to see the clerk once today, and I thought, hey, don't need another trip. So I didn't think the race was over. I thought I could get a move back. I could see the back markers coming and just hope that an opportunity would arise, but fair play to him, good race. He did well to chase me down, because I don't know what sort of lead I had, but it was enough, 3, maybe 4 seconds, so he did a really good job to get back to me.
The final race of the weekend for the Mark I Mazda Championship is about to get underway. We've got a magnificent array of cars, 24 cars on track. Simon Woods is on pole, so I'll hand you to our race commentator, Jake Sanson, for the final time this weekend.
We're ready for action for the third Group B race in the Mazda MX-5 Championship 2018, and it's that man, Simon Woods, back on the front of the grid with Charlie Rawls alongside him. Nick Ledoyen and Oliver Robinson are on the second row, from Jack Moody and Alan Hawkins on the third row. Ivan Leary, Anthony Hutchins, Bryn Griffiths and Bill Taylor round out the top 10. From Jake Stiles and Clive Chisnell on the sixth row, Richard Wootton, George Grant, Graham Rumsey and Charles Muggleston, followed by Bruce Robinson, Sam Riley, Richard Bartlett, and rounding out the top 20 is Sam Jarvis. Then it's Elliot Han, Callum Greatrex, William Hayden and Nick Riley starting from the back of the grid after William Hayden got involved in a last lap accident. He'll be charging through from the back, no doubt. So the red lights are on. When they go out, we're racing at Brands Hatch. Let's do it one more time, and it's a cracking start for the second row for Nick Ledoyen, who's going to shoot straight through, split the front row, and get himself up into the lead. Terrific getaway. We're on board with Charlie Rawls, as that's Anthony Hutchins trying to come round the outside of us into the first corner, and squeezes Hawkins and Leary, and somehow they manage to get away with that one. Hawkins is leering all over the circuit, and he just about manages to get away without that turning into a massive accident. And there's a little bit of grass dusting on the far side of the exit of Paddock Hill Bend, but it looks to me as though everybody's got through without drama. Goodness me, that is about as close as you can get to a mass car pileup without it actually happening. They dart their way through the Graham Hill Bend. Nick Ledoyen streaking away out in front. Oh, somebody's gone a little bit wide on the exit of Graham Hill Bend in the midfield. But other than that, everybody is through reasonably safe. That's Oliver Robinson at the front of the charging pack. Simon Woods in third position. Charlie Rawls is there in P4. And in fifth, that looks like Anthony Hutchins in the 80, having just about got away with his little brush with the 722 Alan Hawkins. Ivan Leary seems to be in amongst that lot as well somewhere. We're on board with Simon Woods as he makes his move on Robinson. Dives up the inside, Robinson has no response, and Simon Woods, the 101, is up into second place. We're on board with Charlie Rawls, fourth position. Still Nick Ledoyen leading after his lightning getaway, but he's got a problem! Nick Ledoyen's got a problem! All three leaders are now in front. That's an absolute disaster for Ledoyen. Oh, Sam Riley's had a bit of an off, and it looks as though he's taken some major damage to the front end of the car. He is off in the gravel. Now, is that going to produce a safety car? There's not a lot of runoff area around the circuit, and is that on the approach to Paddock Hill Bend? I think it is. So surely there's going to be yellow flags on the way into the first corner, and that's going to be a big problem for Charlie Rawls as he tries to make a move on Oliver Robinson. He's going to have to tuck back in. Yes, indeed, yellow flags fly. Now, considering where he is on the circuit, that may bring out the safety car, because that could be considered to be a dangerous position, and we've got battles all the way through the field. Now, I hope nobody gained a place in all of that squabble as they come towards us. That's the 74, Clive Chisnell, trying to make up places and fend off a pack of dogs behind him. Anthony Hutchins in the 80 has suddenly got a major challenge from Alan Hawkins in the 722, and it's safety car. We've just been told the safety car is coming out on circuit, and that is no surprise at all, really, after the off from the stricken car on the far side. Oh, the lights are out straight away, so we are going to go racing. Terrific work from the recovery crew then, because we are going to go racing. So the safety car is going to peel straight in, and the pace of the race is now going to be dictated by Woods, who's already gone for it. Woods has already dropped the hammer. He's going for it. And what a restart. He has got himself a good second or so over the rest of the field. That is a terrific restart from Simon Woods, and almost certainly now he will control the rest of this race from the green flag if he can just keep it all together. So a cracking start from Woods. Second position still Robinson. Third is Charlie Rawls as he tries to go for his second podium of the weekend. He dives at the inside of Robinson. It's a great line out of Paddock Hill Bend. And we got another spinner behind us. Someone's gone off of Paddock Hill Bend as Rawls has to sacrifice the move on Robinson. That's Ivan Leary. Ivan Leary has gone in backwards at Paddock Hill Bend. Now I don't think that one is going to bring out the safety car because he's gone a long way into the gravel trap there. He should be able to get out of the car, no problem at all. And I don't think he's going to be injured from that one, but Ivan Leary's race is over. We're on board with Charlie Rawls as he battles with Robinson. Through Surtees, up towards McLaren. Heading for Clark Corner. Careful, you have to have a lot of counter steering through that course in the drizzly, greasy conditions. Up the gears. He's into fourth gear now as he comes down the straight. Right on the back of Robinson, looking for a way to come through. He goes left, because that's where Robinson's sending him. And he keeps the car in fourth gear through that Paddock Hill Bend turn. Last lap, it's now or never for these guys. And this time Simon Woods shuts the door assertively on Jake Stiles. Stiles is going to try and get back on the undercut, but I think Charlie Rawls has got this one in the bag. All he has to do is keep on it. And now we've got more tussles. These two more cars in the mix. That's the 65, William Hayden, coming around the outside. Where has he come from? Hayden was down at the back of the grid, and he's charged his way up into, what's that now, 5th position. Terrific stuff from William Hayden. He's in the top 5. And now he's right in there behind Simon Woods. He could get 4th before the finish. Down the short stretch, Charlie Rawls is still working his craft to the front of the field. And that looks like 722. Alan Hawkins trying to get in the mix with Jake Stiles as well. But what a victory this is going to be. Charlie Rawls is going to hang on to it through the final turn. They're still sliding around, but Charlie Rawls has done it. Across the line he's going to come. A victorious moment for Charlie Rawls. He takes the win in the last race of the weekend at Brands Hatch. And he is ecstatic about it. To right, mate. Charlie Rawls wins an absolute thriller at Brands Hatch. Oh, and I'm completely out of gusto. Magnificent. Charlie Rawls is your winner here at Brands Hatch after a terrific battle with Oliver Robinson. Jack Moody comes home in 3rd place. Simon Woods in 4th, from William Hayden, Jake Stiles, Bill Taylor, Richard Whitten, Graham Rumsey and Bryn Griffiths in the top 10. Richard Whitten the fastest lap of the race and all that. George Grant, Charles Muggerston, Bruce Robinson, Elliot Hand, Sam Jarvis and Richard Bartlett were the only other finishers in a crazy race. Chisnell, Hutchins, Leary, Riley, Ledoyan, Hawkins, Greatrex and Riley, all non-finishers. But what a way to end the weekend for Group B, and a great win for Charlie Rawls.
First ever podium yesterday, you got 3rd. It must be amazing feeling to come back and get 1st.
Oh, it's amazing, yeah. When we were sat in the assembly area, I thought, I'm not going home until I'm holding this trophy, so... we obviously had to make a few moves to get here. We went backwards, had a good grassy moment, kept it on the track miraculously. Everyone disappeared from behind me, so the pressure was off. And yeah, we brought it back, so chuffed.